In today's video, we are going to talk about everything we know about the new Bloxburg school so far, including all of the teasers we've been given, plus the likely release date because as usual, Detective Glossie is on the case. Hey glossettes, welcome back. How are you guys doing today? Now I think we all know by now a school is one of the most requested additions to Bloxburg, and ever since they confirmed it was actually coming, there has been a ton of questions about it. So to help with this, I've gone through everything that the Bloxburg developers have ever said about the school, and today we are going to go through all of it to make sure that you are the most up to date with what's actually happening with its progress. But let's go all the way back to 10 months ago on the 25th of September 2024 when Bloxburg posted a video titled Bloxburg Developers Answer Your Most Asked Questions, Full Bloxburg Q&A. This video was actually a recording of a Q&A session with FroggyHops, the studio manager, and Bramp and Marie, the two community managers, which was hosted in the official Bloxburg Discord server a few days prior, and you could actually listen into it live at the time. So in a summary of what was said, it was said that Bloxburg is definitely adding a school, however it is a super complex thing to implement into the game because they want the school to have actual gameplay of its own and not just be kind of like a school building that doesn't really have any features other than being a location. At the time, they were looking at how they can include elements of different classes and activities in those classes, and just things to make it a really immersive experience. They also said that this makes it difficult because it takes time, and whilst they are working on this, they obviously want to be able to deliver other updates, as well as that they were potentially looking at working with their other studios to help with making the school to get it to us sooner rather than later. So this was the very early kind of first conversation about it, and the bottom line of this Q&A was that yes, there was a school that was going to be coming. They just didn't have a timeline on when this could be yet because they hadn't really started the plans kind of that in depth. So that's pretty much everything that was said in the September interview with the devs, and considering that was 10 months ago, a lot of time has passed and a lot more about the school has been published. The next news we heard on the school was actually a tweet from the official Bloxburg Twitter account on the 14th of November 2024. This tweet read, "Hey Bloxburgers, we have some big news. We're exploring our options for a potential school addition in Bloxburg late next year. With that in mind, what features or ideas would you love to see? Drop your thoughts below to help guide us in the first phase of this exciting project." So the point of this was of course to gather the community's ideas on what they actually wanted to see in a school update, and they got nearly 700 replies to this. So many people shared their ideas, but once again, this was also back last year, so this was in the very early stages of the school development, so we still didn't hear a lot about it at the time, but it was really cool that they were actually trying to kind of include the community's ideas as well. Anyways, the next mention of it was actually from FroggyHops in the Bloxburg Discord server on the 15th of December, around a month later. So he actually said that the new school was intended to come as a separate release after the new map is already released. Obviously, if we go forward to right now, we know that went ahead because the new map is already here and the school still isn't. But 4 months after this, on the 18th of April, we got another video on the Bloxburg YouTube channel titled "Where is the new Bloxburg map and other updates?" where they actually went over some pretty exciting updates on the school. In this video, Marie mentions the previous Q&A and how they said back then that it was a big project. She adds that they've actually brought in an external team to work on the school, just like how they said they might do at the start, and how they really want to do the school justice after the very long wait over the years. Next, she says how our feedback and suggestions from past polls have actually played a huge role in shaping what Bloxburg High School is becoming. This is most likely referring to the previous tweet we mentioned where they actually asked us for our ideas, and this also confirms for the first time that the school will actually be more of a high school than like a kind of like elementary school or something like that. After this, Marie says the school will be in a brand new location already planned out on the new map. It will also include interactive classes with unique activities, among other potential elements like being able to customize our own lockers, plus new and modified jobs, in which she then says looking at you, Glenn, hinting at the fact that the janitor job could face some changes with the new school's arrival. In the next section of this video, she talks about where they're at with the school right now, and at the time of this video, they stated that the game's art team was busy creating tons of new props for the school, as well as the programming team, giving all of these functions so that the assets were actually ready in advance to help with staying on track with their school production timeline to make sure they don't encounter many delays, of course. They also said they had a floor plan already for the school, and that the external team they're partnering with was also already working on the class activities and creating the core systems for the school too. Marie then clarified that because it's somewhat still early in the development, things could still change, but the Bloxburg team is excited and optimistic about the direction the school is going in. And finally, she mentions when the school release date actually is, which at the time they're goal was to release it by the end of fall, but they are doing their best to launch it sooner if possible. And that's pretty much a summary of the huge update we got on the school's progress from April. Now focusing for a second on the release date they mentioned, of course, like I just said, the goal was to have this released by the end of fall. Now fall is usually around September/October time and possibly November too, so that's hopefully when we could see the school actually coming out. Anyways, on June 28th, we of course got the huge map revamp update, and for those of you who've actually explored this more in depth, you probably would have seen that the new school location is actually already in game, including the school's foundations and logo and more. If you head behind the town hall, you'll actually find the school construction site, and at the very front you'll find these posters which read active construction zone, Bloxburg High School opening fall 2025. We can also see the Bloxburg High School logo here, and it also seems that the kind of school colors are going to be a dark blue and orange. And if you actually go into the construction site, the first thing in here is Glenn in a temporary green clean stall, as the janitor job for now has been moved to the construction site where you can actually clean up kind of like a mess around the school's foundations. This actually links back to when Marie was saying how there would be changes to some jobs facing the school's arrival, and of course her showing Glenn on the screen, as quite clearly the janitor job is actually going to be moved into the new school. The rest of the construction site is just what looks like a floor plan of the school, with some typical construction items dotted around like trucks, wooden crates, toolboxes, and more. But the site itself is actually huge, so we can expect a pretty big school by the looks of it, and I do love the look of these stairs at the front so far as well. So that's pretty much everything to do with the new location so far, but on the 11th of July, a couple weeks later, we actually got the last YouTube video update so far on the school in a video titled Bloxburg School Update and Other Plans. So if we go to the school section of this video, Bramp actually says that they are still on track to release by fall, and then goes into more info about what it'll look like. He says once again about the classes and how they'll have classes with different activities to match whatever class you're in, still sticking with the plans of having it all be very kind of fun and interactive to actually play in. Then Bramp mentions some new features we haven't actually heard about before, this being that the school will include a schedule for everyone who attends the school to follow, as well as that classes will also have grades. He then adds on that the school isn't just about classes and is also about making friends and developing your personal style, and then talks about how you'll be able to customize your lockers and show them off to your friends. And this is great because it means the locker feature is still something that's being added. Then Bramp next adds that of course the school requires a lot of new assets, and that builders will be spoiled with a lot of these new items because they're actually going to add these into build mode, which is also mega exciting. But that was pretty much everything that was mentioned in the latest video update, and that pretty much brings you guys up to date with everything that we know about the school's development. But I do just want to quickly once again focus on the full release date, because I know you guys love a good countdown and prediction, and whilst I can't predict any certain days for this update because we are still like a couple months away and we don't really have anything to go off for that, what I can tell you is that the period of fall starts around September the 22nd, and this is around 8 weeks away, so pretty much exactly 2 months to go until fall begins. The lack of any further updates or teasers on the school leaves me to believe it definitely will not be before this, so you can probably expect to see the school added after September 22nd, so either in very late September, October in the Halloween period, or possibly even November. Technically fall ends in late December, but I personally think it's unlikely the school will be delayed for that long, so anytime from late September to the end of November is my guess for when this will actually release. But of course we always do have to be prepared for delays, as this is a huge project and the developers have been working extremely hard to try and get it as perfect as possible. As the end of the year gets closer, they also have big seasonal updates like Halloween and Christmas to work on too, so make sure you guys keep in mind this is a very busy period of time for them. But this is pretty much everything to know about the school so far. I'm super excited to see it once it's finally added into the game. I feel like it's going to be one of the biggest Bloxburg updates of all time, alongside the new map because of how requested it's been. But that is all for today's video. Let me know if you have any questions down below, and of course any ideas or predictions you have for the school. I would love to hear your thoughts. But as per usual, all my channel members, Nitro Boosters and merch buyers will be on screen now. Thank you so much for joining the channel, boosting the Discord server, and buying my real life merch. I love you all, and in general I love you all so much, glossettes. XOXO Glossy Girl.